Today, I am truly happy to share with you a special testimony, a story that has brought tears to my eyes. In this testimony, we will discover together the true purpose of our animal friends, which goes far beyond simply keeping us company or lifting our spirits. There is a much deeper, more spiritual meaning behind their presence in our lives, and this story reveals the special role they have for us. Before we begin, I kindly ask you, if you haven't already, to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other videos like this, which I publish every day. Now, make yourself comfortable and listen until the end. Thank you for being here. My name is Tiffany. I am 65 years old, and I would like to tell you about the event that forever changed my life. It all began 10 years ago when John, my husband, passed away from lung cancer, a consequence of the 20 cigarettes he smoked a day. He never admitted it, but I knew he smoked to alleviate anxiety, a silent battle he fought within himself. Now, I live on the 4th floor of an old building, and my only remaining connections are my children, my son, who lives in Europe for work, and my daughter, who lives half an hour away, but whom I rarely see. The days pass slowly, accompanied by the ticking of the clock, while I watch others' lives go by from the window. In those moments, I wonder if anyone notices the loneliness that envelops me like persistent smoke. Even without cigarettes. One day, my daughter called me with a somewhat embarrassed voice and asked me an unusual favor. She was about to go on a ski trip with friends for a week and didn't know who to leave Luna, her dog, a large dog with long, soft fur with. She knew that I don't particularly love animals, especially those that shed hair everywhere and risk making a mess in the house. But at that moment, perhaps not to upset her, I agreed. She promised it would only be a week and called me every day to ensure everything was going well. So, in the end, I let myself be convinced. The second day Luna was with me, I went out to do some shopping. I returned and found all the couch cushions shredded, the living room covered in stuffing, as if a soft, silent snowfall had fallen. I got angry, but I thought that, after all, it was just a dog, and I tried to calm myself down. The next day, while I was preparing dinner, I heard a loud noise coming from the living room. I ran inside and found the glass cabinet, the one where I kept John's memories, completely destroyed. I saw John's glasses on the floor, his favorite t-shirt, the hat he used to wear when we went for walks in the hills. I knelt there, picked up the glasses, and brought them to my face. They still smelled of him, of that scent I had loved so much. And then, unable to hold back any longer, I burst into tears. The tears flowed down like a river, dissolving years of hidden pain, all that emptiness I had accumulated inside me. While I was there, lost in my pain, I felt Luna approaching. She sat down next to me and looked at me with those eyes full of sweetness, as if she understood everything I was feeling. She curled up close to me, resting her head on my legs, and a sense of comfort washed over me, something I hadn't felt in a long time. It was at that moment that I began to understand the importance of having someone by your side, even a four-legged friend. Over time, I asked my daughter to leave her with me while she worked. And so, day after day, Luna ended up staying with me permanently. It was an evening like many others in my quiet town, but this time, I really needed eggs. Usually, my supplies last a long time, but strangely, that evening, I had just run out. So, I went out and went to the nearby mini-market. I arrived at the market shortly before closing and was left as the only customer. I took the eggs and headed towards the exit with Luna, my dog, by my side. As soon as I stepped out, I noticed 3 men with hats standing right in front of me. I immediately felt a chill and, without thinking too much, decided to go in the opposite direction, hoping to avoid trouble. But I realized they were following me, and with every step I quickened, they did the same. As I turned the corner, they began to run towards me. Panic washed over me. I realized I had no way to escape. They immediately demanded my purse, shouting for me to drop it on the ground. Fear paralyzed me, and I couldn't even move. When I heard Luna growling, sensing my agitation, one of them drew a knife, advancing menacingly. But Luna, who until that moment had always been docile and calm, reacted without hesitation. She jumped onto the man's arm, trying to defend me. I heard a scream and realized she had hit him. But in the chaos, the man with the knife struck Luna several times right behind the neck. The moment I saw her body fall to the ground, stained with blood, was a heart-wrenching blow. The three men ran away, even leaving my purse behind, but I couldn't move. My heart was pounding so hard I felt like it was about to explode. As I stared at Luna on the ground, motionless, I cried out desperately, "Help! Help!" But the street was deserted. I tried to return to the market, but in my haste I tripped on a sidewalk, or perhaps a hole, and fell. I felt my ankle twist and my head hit the cement hard. Then, darkness. It was as if my body no longer belonged to me. I felt light as if suspended, and a sense of total freedom enveloped me. It was an indescribable feeling, as if I could soar through the air, just like a bird. In front of me, a warm, enveloping light opened up, and without even realizing it, I began to follow it. In front of me appeared a huge staircase that seemed to ascend into the sky. I had no feet to touch it, yet I could climb it as if that staircase was part of me. At a certain point, looking up, I saw a luminous figure in front of me. It was an angel with white wings, large and light, moving gently, almost as if floating. His face expressed deep serenity, a kindness that immediately put me at ease. "Am I dead?" I asked him, confused and astonished. He smiled at me but shook his head. "I cannot give you that answer, but I can take you to someone who knows it." We continued to climb together, and as we moved, new and wonderful places opened up before me. The first was an immense playground, full of vivid colors, like in a dream. Everywhere, I saw children running, laughing, playing. It was an endless expanse, populated by thousands of happy little faces. My heart filled with tenderness, but a question struck me. Where are their mothers? I asked. The angel looked at me with a sweet expression and replied, "This is the children's paradise. Here come the little ones whose lives were cut too short or taken away by adults' problems." Those words shook me, but at the same time, I felt that those children were enveloped in a peace I had never imagined. We climbed further, and the landscape changed. Now, in front of me opened up a quiet, serene park, full of trees and benches. It was a place of tranquility, and here and there, I saw groups of elderly people, each engaged in something, some reading, some talking, some playing bocce. There was a sense of community, of simple and peaceful living. "What place is this?" I asked, observing with curiosity. "This is the place where the souls of the elderly find rest and companionship," the angel replied. "Here they can do what they love, spend their days in peace, surrounded by others like them." We continued upward, and at each level I encountered new faces, new people, each different from the other, each with a unique story and culture. There were people of every color, of every ethnicity and nationality. I understood, as we climbed, that paradise is infinite and populated by souls who, having overcome earthly sufferings, had found eternal peace. It was as if their serenity emitted a light that illuminated everything, and the feeling of peace and belonging I felt was beyond any experience lived in life. I realized that that state of harmony and calm which enveloped everything was the goal of every soul, the happiness they had surpassed every happy moment ever lived on earth, amplified 100 times, elevated to infinity. It was true, eternal serenity. I was immersed in all those emotions without fully understanding where I was. My mind felt empty, devoid of any earthly thoughts, until a figure appeared in front of me, a figure I immediately recognized. He had the kind and compassionate face of Jesus. In that instant, I understood. It was paradise. And it was the place awaiting all those who had lived with an open heart, hopeful to find peace. I was embarrassed, even intimidated, to be standing before him. But he, without hesitation, reached out his hand to me. I felt an infinite calm wash over me, and an inner voice, more a feeling than a real voice, infused me with peace and serenity. "It is not your time yet," he said to me gently. "You are here because, in your life, you have faced many difficulties, and you have also embarked on a spiritual journey, not a path of mere faith, but an inner journey. Your soul was fading after the loss you endured, but help was sent to you, a saving spirit in the form of an animal. You welcomed it, and that is very rare. Every day, we send spirit companions in the form of animals to thousands of people, but often they are ignored. You, instead, were able to see Luna for what she was, accepting her space, understanding her difficulties, forgiving her mistakes without ever pushing her away or getting angry. I was overwhelmed with surprise. I only half understood that he was talking about Luna, my dog. Luna, who my daughter had left with me for a few days, and who then ended up staying with me, changing my life in a way I hadn't understood until that moment. I realized that none of that was an accident. Luna had been sent to me to help me overcome my loneliness and sadness. That realization filled me with joy and gratitude. But in that moment, the thought of my last image of Luna on the ground, injured, came back to torment me. With my heart in my throat, I asked him how she was. He looked at me with a sweet and reassuring smile and said, "Spirits are not meant to stay with us forever. Each of them has a task to perform, a message to deliver, and for this reason, their lives are often shorter than ours." Luna fulfilled her mission. She managed to help you rediscover the love and strength you carry within you. Her time has come, but this does not mean she has disappeared. Those words were like a balm for my heart. He continued, "You will never forget what Luna has given you, just as you will never forget the loved ones you have lost. Carry with you every memory, every emotion she has given you, because Luna will always remain alive within you in the person you have become, thanks to her." As I listened, my pain transformed into gratitude. I felt that Luna would always be with me in every memory, in every thought. Despite her absence, there had never been a definitive separation. There was only a love that continued, eternal and immortal. In the deepest corner of my heart, driven by growing curiosity, I wanted to ask more questions to understand more about that place and everything I had seen. But he stopped me with a serene smile, the kind of smile that seems to hold all the answers. "Your time to return has come," he said, and his voice descended like a caress on my soul. "Just know that what you have seen is what awaits you, because your heart is a fertile land, ready to welcome faith and serenity. It is not difficult to reach paradise," he continued. "The important thing is to follow what the heart tells us to do, good to those around us, and, above all, to always be ready to repent for the mistakes we have made. This is the true purity that is needed." A new feeling washed over me, a deep calm, almost as if all the pain, losses, and fears of my life had finally dissolved. I felt a force calling me back, a sweet current bringing me back to life. But his words remained alive inside me, like a freshly planted seed, ready to sprout. Those words were simple and powerful, and as I tried to respond to him, he preempted me with a voice that seemed capable of dissolving every fear. "Do not fear. One day, you will see your Luna again here, in this paradise that will be your home. Your dwelling awaits you, he said, pointing me beyond a hill. There, immersed in the greenery, I saw a wooden little house. Simple and welcoming, exactly as I had always dreamed, but never been able to realize. It was a house that seemed to come out of my most intimate thoughts, and just looking at it, I felt a familiar warmth, as if my soul recognized that place. That will be your eternal dwelling, he continued. Every detail reflects your dreams and hopes, because the life you lived was a journey that prepared you for this to return home. Here, no desire will remain unexpressed. Then, gently, he concluded, you will find here all your loved ones, and Luna will be there, waiting for you to accompany you forever. She will always be by your side. Those were his last words, an echo of peace that enveloped me. And as his figure dissolved into the light, I felt an enveloping and pure energy gently bringing me downward, a call that was bringing me back to my life. Darkness fell around me, but the warmth of that place, the promise of that house, and of that eternal love remained with me like a beacon and unshakable certainty. This is all I remember with certainty. Everything that remains etched inside me like a precious gift. I'm sorry I can't remember more, because perhaps other details could have comforted other souls in search of answers. But what I have experienced, I am sure, was guided by the deep bond I had with my dog, Luna. In the last years of my life, she had been my companion, my silent comfort, and I believe that this bond shaped my experience, making it so profoundly personal. Now that I fully understand its meaning, I feel as if a new world has opened up to me. I have realized that even our four-legged friends have a purpose in our journey, and that every bond is precious, an invisible thread that connects us to something eternal. Nothing is by chance. Every encounter, every glance, every creature that crosses our path has a message, even when we don't recognize it immediately. Even an animal that appears to us on an ordinary day, which we sometimes ignore, distracted by our problems, is a gift sent to us to help us grow, to learn unconditional love and dedication. We are so often immersed in our thoughts, overwhelmed by worries that ultimately turn out to be small, while the heart speaks to us incessantly, guiding us to what truly matters. Every affection, every creature that is by our side has a meaning, a deep significance that goes beyond the visible. Please consider what I have seen and felt. If you have ever had a faithful friend beside you, a being that has comforted you, that has taught you patience, forgiveness, the simplicity of living, never regret their loss. Rather, be grateful for having experienced that love. Embrace the pain as a sign that your heart has been able to listen, that your soul is capable of opening up, ready to walk towards the light. Because I am certain that those who live in this way, who carry in their hearts the ability to love without reservations, already possess the gift of faith and are destined to find, beyond life, a paradise where every affection will be eternal. To anyone interested in my story, I wanted to say that, unfortunately, Luna didn't make it. The sacrifice she made to protect me cost her her life. I woke up in the hospital, cared for by the owners of the market who had called for help. I stayed there for a month with a fractured ankle and a severe head trauma. But in the silence of those nights, I felt inside me the light. I had seen a new awareness. Luna had given me everything, and her love would never disappear. Returning home, the emptiness was heartbreaking. The house seemed lifeless, but at the animal shelter, I met Jean-Pierre, a little dog with sweet eyes, and I immediately realized that I couldn't be without a four-legged companion. Since then, 5 years have passed, and Jean-Pierre has become my spirit guide, a new friend, who reminds me every day of the patience and joy of the little things. I am sure that one day I will see Luna again, together with my loved ones, in that place of peace that I have glimpsed. Until then, I know that every step brings me closer to that eternal love, and I live each day with gratitude, carrying in my heart what Luna taught me, that every bond is a gift and that love, the true kind, never abandons us. When evening comes and I close my eyes, I feel as if Luna is still beside me, and every breath becomes a whisper of gratitude for the time we shared. Perhaps this is paradise to continue to love, knowing that the heart is always with those we have loved. Thank you for listening to this story until the end. If you also have a special animal that has changed your heart, that has entered your soul in ways that only those who have experienced a similar bond can understand, I would love to hear your story. Tell me in the comments and share this video with anyone so that the message reaches more people's hearts. Let's let everyone know how deep and true these bonds can be, because our friends are much more than just animals. They are companions, guides, and soulmates who show us every day the meaning of pure and unconditional love.